This portion of Midday Live is sponsored by the Barnes Firm.
I read a statistic where as we travel through August and September, we're also navigating the months with the most car accidents. So you're joining us today. Tell us a little bit about how we navigate if we're in that situation. So what should we do immediately after and the days following a car accident? What are the steps or the tips that you think we should have?
Okay, well, that's a great question. Thank you very much. In terms of immediately after it happens, the first thing that you want to do is if you're injured, notify the proper authorities. Call the police. If they want to send ambulance out and you're hurt, a lot of times people feel like, a little bit of adrenaline and they may say, oh, I'm okay, let me see. That can actually really work against you if you are hurt. You want to get the care that you need. So first step is if you're hurt, call the authorities. Beyond that, you want to look to see, document what's going on. So who's the person involved in the accident, get their information, take photographs. You want to capture all that information right when it happens to the extent that you can, given your injuries.
Okay, since you mentioned the injury and a lot of times the adrenaline is pumping and people are like, I'm fine, I don't want to go to the hospital, I don't want to see a doctor. And then 2 or 3 days later, they're like, something doesn't feel right. So how many days after that accident do you have to report the injury? And how should you do that?
Yeah, what you described is completely accurate. Nobody wants to be injured. So when this happens, the first response is oh, no, it's no big deal. I'll be okay. It happens all the time. I talk to people where later on a couple days, they're saying, man, this is something's really going on, or it's not getting better, or it's more serious than I thought. The short answer to how long you have is the sooner the better. Because the way it works is that, unfortunately, the longer you take and the more you delay, that can work against you, because then it can call into question from some people if you were injured or not. And we know that that's not the case.
So when you report that, do you report that at the same time you would report the accident itself? And if you wait a couple of days to report the accident, how does that process unfold?
Well, the really, really concerning thing about this is that it depends on the circumstances of your accident, how long you may have under the laws. It could be as long as 2 years. It could be as short as 6 months where you have to take certain actions. So the best thing is, if you're hurt, get an attorney involved, because they can help guide you as far as to how long you have. That aside, you generally want to contact the attorney before you contact everyone and start reporting everything, because, again, the timelines on this can be very important.
Are there any other tips or processes you can tell us about that I may have forgotten?
So much drama. Yeah, you're 100% right. The best thing is that when it happens, to the extent that you can, document everything that you can. Get the names of the people involved, any witnesses, pictures. All these things can come into play later on, because unfortunately, sometimes after the fact, people's story starts changing. And maybe somebody that was being cooperative with you at the scene, now all of a sudden, they have a whole different story. So do that. As far as the timelines and everything, if you're hurt, get an attorney involved, because all these things can be very confusing. Most people haven't been through this. This is not something they're familiar with, and that can make all the difference in terms of getting a fair outcome for yourself, or getting something where you felt like you got the short end of the stick.
Well, we appreciate all that information, Landon. And again, Landon Vivian, the managing attorney with the Barnes Firm, here to help us navigate the next couple of months, or all 12 months. These just next couple of months happen to be the busiest with car accidents. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here.